Hello, 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 and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. This is Dr. Latoya Wells with Wells Legacy Health and Wellness, and I'm so excited that you all are here. It has been a day, let me tell you. Hold on one second. It has been a day, but I'm so grateful to be here with you all for another episode of Wellness Wednesday. I'm doing something a little different today. I'm recording on two different platforms, well, multiple actually, but I am trying something out for the first time because, yeah, it's been a day, but I'm grateful to be here with you all. And if I don't get this um, figured out, then we'll move on and I'll just continue with what I'm doing right now. But I hope you guys are having a great day. And I hope this Wellness Wednesday has been a Wednesday that has brought wellness to your life. How about that? It's important that we focus on the things that bring us peace and that bring us joy and that help us overall. But today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I think is really important for all of us, and it's aging well. Aging well. We're not in our 20s anymore. We're not, those young whippersnappers, even though I think sometimes we feel like we are, but we're not. And we are aging. So, how do we age well? What are some of the things that we can do to ensure that as we continue to gain wisdom and to, age, how do we age well? What are some things that we can do to preserve some of the energy that we have? And what are some of the things that we can do to make sure that we are maximizing our health and that we're taking care of these bodies that we have? And tonight we're going to talk about it. This is going to be a 4-part series, and you guys are going to be seeing some different things coming from me on social media and all of the things. So I'm excited tonight. I did have some technical difficulty, but trying to get everything worked out. Sorry, guys. Trying to get everything worked out to ensure that I am able to function in multiple platforms. So tonight, what we're going to do is, again, talk about aging well. What does that look like? What does that even mean? Like, what does aging well mean to you? What does that look like? And it's important for you to understand what health and wellness means to you first and foremost. But then, what does it look like for you to actually age well, to take care of your body? What are some of the things that you do on a daily basis that can help you to improve in your health? And some people say, I'm healthy, I really don't have any other areas that I need to focus on. We all have some areas that we need to focus on and some areas that we need to ensure that we are maximizing our health to the max, right? That we are doing everything that we need to make sure that we are taking care of these bodies. My grandma used to say, you only get one body, you only have one body, we only have one life. And so, what are we going to do to make sure that we are maximizing and that we're truly taking care of these bodies that we have been graced and blessed to have and take care of? So, with that being said, tonight, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about some topics and things related to aging well, but my focus is going to be on diet and exercising and the foods that we eat and how are we preparing the food, where are you going to get your food from, all of those things. So bear with me. I apologize again. Technical difficulties are kind of hindering things, but it's okay. I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to roll with it and it's going to be all right. um, And as I mentioned, this is going to be a 4-part series. So each week we're going to build on these topics. And each week I'm going to provide you with some different information. And each week we're going to grow in our knowledge with expert information, not just from myself, but some other experts in different areas. And we're going to talk about it, right? There's some things that we don't necessarily talk about, but we're going to talk about it. And you guys know I'm not shy when it comes to talking about different things on Wellness Wednesday. So we're going to talk about all the things, right? And so tonight I want to ask you a question. When you think about food and the foods that you're eating, how much thought do you give to where you get your foods from or how you prepare your food? Did you know that preparing food a certain way could decrease the nutrient value of the food? You know, there's been some research going on lately about the use of microwaves, and how that impacts the food. I'm not going to get into that tonight because I'm telling you now, I'm one of the person that I love my microwave. But there are things that we can do to ensure that we are maximizing our health and that we are taking care of our bodies. And it starts with what we put in our mouths. And so let me scroll down here. I don't know what's going on, guys, but it's okay. So we want to make sure that we are doing what we can to ensure that we are living long, healthy, vibrant lives. And the foods that we eat and can impact that in a major way. Science and how we grow our food and where we get the food from, as I mentioned before, is important. So food impacts our longevity, it impacts energy, it impacts disease prevention. Foods can help you reduce inflammation, it can improve your immunity, and it can give you or help you with better brain health as well as stronger bones and muscles. And I can tell you, and I've said this before, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? And so we got to make sure that if you're not a breakfast person, what are some of the things that you can do to ensure that you are getting in the nutrients that you need to be able to sustain you until you can have your next meal? 1 in 2 adults over the age of 50 have at least one chronic disease that can be influenced by their diet. Meaning, if someone has high blood pressure, there's something within their diet that if they make small changes over a period of time, they can begin to see their blood pressure numbers come down. And typically with individuals who have high blood pressure, it's related to sodium intake. It's related to the fried foods and things of that nature. So if we can get those individuals to make small changes over a long period of time, they can begin to see some positive impacts. Diets high in processed foods increase premature aging and chronic illnesses by 30%. You guys know I love my statistics. People who follow Mediterranean style diet lower their risk of cognitive decline by 24%. And cognitive decline could be dementia, Alzheimer's, and things like that. So if we're looking at diet, it has a major impact on every area of our life. What I want you to do is, what's one food that you should eat more of but don't? Drop that in the chat. Put that in the chat. Put that in the comments. One food that you know you're supposed to eat more of and you don't. I'm gonna put my my really good friend on the spot. She is just now getting to a point where she's eating certain veggies. Corn used to be a vegetable for her, but she has branched out, and I'm so proud of her. And that she's starting to eat more foods. And I think as we begin to age, as we get wiser, right? I'll say that we start looking at things, right? And when I look in the mirror, I still see the same Latoya that I saw when I was 20 years old. However, there are some changes that I see in my face, some changes that I see in my hair, some changes that I see in my body. And as I begin to age, I'm paying attention to more things, what I'm eating, because I could eat anything and not gain weight, literally anything I wanted, any time of the day, no matter what, and didn't gain any weight. Well, that's not my story right now. I have to be mindful of what I'm putting in my body and what foods I'm eating, because once you get to a certain age, women and some men, it's harder to lose weight. And so focusing on anti-aging and protective foods that help us, foods that help kickstart things and make sure that we're moving in the right direction when it comes to our diet and nutrition. Berries and dark fruits, they have antioxidants that protect against cell damage. And I don't know if you realize that our cells kind of turn over and mature and die off at certain point, right? And so as those cells are maturing and, kind of coming back to life, so to speak, there are certain things that we can do to help them and to prevent the cells from becoming damaged. When we talk about cancer is typically overgrowth of certain cells, right? The cells in and of themselves don't turn themselves off, and that's a whole pathophysiology lesson, and we're not going to go into that. But leafy greens and carnivorous vegetables. So vitamin K, they have calcium, they have folate for the bone and brain health. And then fatty fish. So salmon, tuna, sardines, they have those good omega-3s for the heart and for the brain. And I know many individuals take omega-3 vitamins, omega vitamins that have the omega-3s in it, and that's really good. But if we can get these vitamins and nutrients from the foods that we eat, that's amazing. And then you don't have to take a pill. But for some people who are found to be deficient in certain areas, they do have to take vitamins and supplements to kind of supplement. And that's why they're called supplements, because they're supplementing what they're missing in their diet and in the foods that they eat. And then, of course, the beans, the lentils, and the quinoa, plant-based proteins that maintain the muscle. It's important that we are eating protein, and there's certain calculations on how much protein you need, and I'm not going to go into that tonight, but I will provide some resources for you all in order to be able to look and determine how much protein you should have in your diet each and every day. And for me, I think I need 72 grams of protein, and that's based on my height and my weight and my activity level. And so for me, I know I need to focus on those things. Nuts and seeds also provide healthy fats for the skin and also for the heart. And then for anti-inflammatory properties, we have turmeric and different spices, the cumin, the cayenne, those things, ginger, that help with inflammation in the body. So when the body is inflamed, it is harder for that individual to lose weight. And then, of course, drinking your water. We know this, right? You should be drinking at least half your body weight in water each and every day. Now, given that you don't have any issues with water retention, you don't have any issues with your kidneys infiltrating, getting rid of the excess water, that you don't have any issues with heart problems, congestive heart failure, or pumping mechanism of your heart, anytime you're trying something new, always run that by your healthcare provider. Always have that conversation with your healthcare provider. And as someone whose passion is making sure that my patients, my family, my community have what they need to be able to advocate for themselves, I want to make sure that I'm providing you with that information, right? And so more amazing things to come. So when I'm talking about all this food, and right now I'm really hungry, typically day to day, I really don't know what I'm going to eat unless I'm meal prepping. And there have been times where I've meal prepped, but meal prepping helps me. I'm just going to talk about myself. Meal prepping helps me to ensure that I have healthy options in advance, so that in my life, my busy life, that I'm not stopping to grab the fast food. I'm not stopping to get a bag of chips when I could be eating a salad or some fruit, right? But if I'm not meal prepping, then I'm not setting myself up for success, because when I'm in a pinch or when I'm in a bind or when I'm busy, I either forget to eat or I go and grab the first thing that's available to me. And for that reason, I like to keep fruits and veggies and kind of the healthy snacks, the protein shakes around, so that I can go and grab something and have some alternatives. So it's always good to have alternatives. So what are some easy meal prep ideas? Overnight oats with berries and flaxseed is quick, it's nutrient dense, and it's great for breakfast. I've had that other times throughout the day, but it's really good for a grab and go breakfast. You get your little mason jars or the little glass jars or what have you from wherever you want to purchase them, and you have breakfast already ready. Some individuals that I talk to about meal prepping, they often speak of, it's boring. I'm eating the same thing every day for a whole week. Well, you don't necessarily have to meal prep that way. You can meal prep 2 days where you have the same breakfast, the same lunch, the same dinner. Then day 2 and day 3 and 4, you have different breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And day 5 and 6, you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And day 7 is your wild card. You can decide what you want to eat there. But you can always mix and match You can always switch out meals so things don't get boring. And I know for me, I tend to get bored with eating the same thing over and over and over, unless it's something that's really good and something I really like. So my meal prepping looks that way, that I'm meal prepping at least 2 to 3 different meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner so that I can kind of switch things up. If I get tired of the same thing that I ate on day one, I'm not eating it on day 6, or vice versa. Mason jar salads. You prep it all at once. It's a grab and go. You have it all week long. And I have been online just looking at different options and things of that nature and how you make sure everything stays crisp. There's so many resources. Social media is a wealth of information, really good information, but you got to be careful with some things, right? So always make sure that if someone is recommending something for you, that it actually works for you and that it's not going to contradict your diet, your health choices, and things of that nature. And then sheet pan salmon and vegetables, really quick. You can prep it in 30 minutes and it's minimal cleanup. You get a baking pan, you put, the aluminum foil, or you put the parchment paper or what have you on the bottom. You season up your, clean and season up your salmon, and then you wash and clean and season your veggies. You put that on that one pan and you pop it in the oven for 30 minutes and you have an easy meal, easy peasy, not much stock that goes into it. The only thing you have to do is make sure that it's on your grocery list or that you've gone to the store and you've gotten all the necessary ingredients that you need. And then snack packs. Making sure you have some nuts, some grapes, hummus with carrots. I love carrots and cucumbers with hummus, the ranch dressing, things of that nature. They're easy and it's quick for me to grab something and go, just to make sure that I have everything that I need. Is so important. Later this week, I'm going to be providing a demo of an amazing salad that I found online. But Mediterranean chickpea salad is really good for those of you who love chickpeas. Now, if you don't like chickpeas, there's some different options that you can, use, different types of beans that you can put in there. But it's full of nutrients, it's full of fiber, it's full of the antioxidants and nutrient rich. And that's what we need, nutrient rich foods that's going to fill us up to where we're not going to be hungry in another hour, right? Foods that are going to provide the benefits that we need for our body. It's so important that we are selecting the foods that we need. Who here meal preps? If there's someone watching it right now live or on demand, do you meal prep? And if so, type meal prep starter in the chat and I'll share some easy tips if you don't meal prep, right? If you're someone who does not meal prep and you want to meal prep, type meal prep starter in the chat and I'll send you some easy tips, some quick and easy tips that kind of help you, especially for those beginners. It's important that we really focus on what's going to work for us. And for some people, meal prepping doesn't work, and that's okay. One thing, I want to make sure that we have our healthy aging foods. But I know those of you who've been here for a while, I've talked about the My Plate planner, right? And how on that plate, you have an 8-inch plate and a half of that is your lean protein. A quarter of that is your veggies and a quarter of that is your starches. But when we're looking at it from a aging standpoint and healthy aging, half the plate should be your fruits and veggies. A quarter of the plate should be your lean proteins, the fish, the turkey, the beans. And I love turkey. I'll go and get a turkey breast, season it up, pop it in my air fryer, and I'll eat on it literally all week. That's part of my meal prepping. I used to eat chicken, but for some reason I can't eat it anymore. And that's okay. So I found alternatives. And that's the key, to find alternative that work for you. If one thing doesn't work, or if you see a recipe and it doesn't necessarily work with you, or the ingredients don't work well with you, that's fine. You can always switch it up for something different. And then going back to this aging well plate, a quarter of that plate should be the whole grains, the quinoa, brown rice, or oats. So half of your plate is fruits and veggies. A quarter of the plate is lean protein, and a quarter of your plate is your whole grain. And when we're talking about lean protein, protein should fit in the palm of your hand. That's about a quarter size. So whatever your hand is, the palm of your hand is, that will be your serving size for your protein. You want to limit added sugars, processed meats, refined carbs, and excess alcohol. Okay. Older adults who meet recommended fruit and veggie intake daily, on average, they live 3 years longer than those who don't. So we're talking about aging well. We're talking about preserving our life and our health. And then moving your body, right? We'll talk about that. I'm going to have an expert here who on one of Wellness Wednesdays who is helping the community age well when it comes to moving their body. I want to make sure that we understand that small changes lead to big results. You don't have to go out tomorrow and throw out everything in your pantry or in your kitchen and in your cabinets or what have you. Purpose in your mind to make these small choices, the little things, the little changes that are going to help you maximize your overall health when it comes to your diet. And if you are looking to get into meal prepping, go online and search out some different options for meal prepping. It could be very helpful, right? If you're ready to start aging well through nutrition, again, start smart. Add 1 serving of fruit or vegetables every day this week. So if you haven't had your serving, your fruit or vegetable, it's not too late. You can go get some salad, make a salad. You can go get an apple or a banana or something like that. But just make sure that you take those small steps. I want to make sure that you all are getting the information that you need. So if there was something that you would have liked to hear tonight about aging well when it comes to our nutrition and how our nutrition can impact how we age, drop it in the chat or send us a DM so that we can answer your questions or provide you with the information that you need. If you want a personalized nutrition and wellness support, you can definitely book an appointment with us for Wells Legacy Health and Wellness for our wellness side of things. And I want to make sure that I am doing my job and my mission to make sure that we're creating a legacy of good health, even when we start with our food, right? The small things, those small steps by changing something in your diet. If you have something that you eat that is not healthy, what's one thing that you can alternate that with? What can you switch that out for? Right? So if you love chips, instead of having a bag of chips, go get some carrots with hummus or cucumbers with hummus, or get some fruit, right? Healthy options. And I'm not one to tell somebody that they can't eat or can't have anything. You can eat and you can have whatever it is that you want. However, we have to make sure that we are making wise choices when it comes to the foods that we eat. I'm excited that you all joined me tonight. I do apologize for coming on a little late. I had some technical difficulties and still had some as I was joining, but it's okay. We worked through it. Thank you all so much for joining me for Wellness Wednesday. I'm excited for all that is to come, and I'm excited for everything that I have and that we have in store for you all. If there's something else that you would like to know or hear about on Wellness Wednesday, please let me know, and we'll definitely take that into consideration. Until next week, stay safe and be well. This is Dr. Latoya Wells with Wells Legacy Health and Wellness. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.